Raiders football this season is presented by the North Brunswick Baseball and Softball Association, Route 1 Dental, and the Cal team at Remax Country in Milltown.
This is Christian Petrillo, and you're listening to North Brunswick Raiders football on the King James Radio Network.
And yes, this is Raiders Live, your pregame on the King James Radio Network, presented by the Cal team at Remax Country. Corbett Thompson here at JamesIsKing.com, where tonight Raiders football is on the King James Radio Network as the North Brunswick Raiders will take on the East Brunswick Bears on senior night in a GMC crossover matchup. North Brunswick comes in at 7-1 under second-year head coach Mike Seipot, and the East Brunswick Bears coming at 1-6, just winning last week. They beat Monroe last week, scoring 53 points in that game to beat Monroe. They are under head coach Bob Molars, and Coach Molars is in his sixth year with the Bears after taking over for longtime head coach Marcus Borden. So, with that being said, as your backdrop, both teams are in their respective locker room areas. The cheerleaders are out here as they put up the banners here for senior night. They have banners lined up all along the front gate, right in front of the football field here, in front of the track. And so, the cheerleaders with all of the decorations. I understand that the cheerleaders even went to the seniors, the houses of the seniors, and put up signs there in front of the houses, congratulating the seniors and wishing them well and so forth. So the Lady Raiders cheerleaders have been awful busy here tonight. So I believe that's the lovely Hannah Rodriguez saying hello down there. As a matter of fact, she must have heard what I was saying, even though the window was closed. So with that, and of course, while I'm on the subject of Hannah Rodriguez, I should say before we get to head coach Mike Seipot, the very first voice that you hear on the majority of our broadcasts with the promo, whether the football sponsor read or our promo for the King James Radio Network, comes from, where this is the King James Radio Network, your home for North Brunswick Raiders sports and Restoration Place and such. That is the voice of the one and only, the lovely Hannah Rodriguez. And so my thanks to Hannah for doing that for me over the summer. And so she makes it work. And so with that being said, the Raiders, they are 7-1 on a 6-game winning streak, and of course, first time in the history of Raiders football that they have had 6-game winning streaks in back-to-back seasons. And of course, the man at the top is head coach Mike Seipot, and so of course had a chance to catch up with him earlier today, and right outside the Raiders locker room, and talk to him about tonight's game. And as the Raiders make their push towards the state playoffs here in Central, well, it's South 5, it's South Group 5, but ultimately it'll break up into subsections of that, and Central Jersey Group 5 will start next week, and that's where the Raiders will be. They can be as high as the number 2 seed in the bracket or drop down as low as 4. I think there might be a scenario where they drop down to 5, but highly unlikely. Probably going to be anywhere from 2 to 4, depending on A, if they win tonight's game, and B, what South Brunswick and Sayreville do in their game coming up tonight as well. So we'll try to keep tabs on that if we can, and let you guys know what's going on over there. But had a chance to catch up with Raiders head football coach Mike Seipot. We'll see if we can catch the pregame festivities here for senior night as well. Also, Sean Brahini and Manny Herrera are in our Raiders spotlight. But first, the head coach of Raiders football is Mike Seipot.
Here with Mike Seipot as we get ready for North Brunswick versus East Brunswick on senior night, as the Raiders at 7-1 try to lock up a home game for the state playoffs. 6 straight wins, trying to make it 7 for the first time since 2003. Now in that season, the Raiders lost their first 3 and won the next 7. So Coach Seipot has done it the other way so far. Speaking of, now it's that you guys have been able to put this together, you're starting to gain some attention from other places like USA Today and their New Jersey branches. They're keeping you guys in consideration for statewide top 20. NJ.com has you in the top 10 amongst Group 5 schools. So you're getting attention now from other places that the program hasn't really had in a long time. Does that change the mission statement with you guys? Obviously, winning games and trying to win a championship is the primary goal, but does that change anything in any way as far as what the mission statement is?
We're so locked in on what we're doing on the field and what we do as a game plan as a staff, and what the kids are doing, the everyday, practice and getting better and everything. When you look up at the end of the day, you're like, wow, we're in the top 10 in Group 5, and we're considered in the state. You don't really look at those things. I mean, obviously it's exciting for the town and for the school and obviously for the players and the team, but we don't. It's not necessarily a goal of ours to say, hey, we have to be in the top 20 in the state. It's just goes to show that the hard work pays off, and then we're getting some attention, and I think it's great.
The last couple of weeks, you guys have scored 45 points or more, 47 last week, and then 49 the week before against Carteret. Haven't done that since 2000. Of course, you're very familiar with the 2000 team. You were on it. Of the last 3 weeks, which is New Brunswick, Carteret, Perth Amboy, which game do you feel like you guys put together a complete game on all three sides of the ball?
I mean, you would have to say the last game. Our defense pitched a shutout. Our offense looked like we could have done whatever we wanted, and we scored an opening kick, which we pride ourselves on with the special teams. So, to get that all three in one game, you'd have to say that was a complete game.
Speaking of special teams, and it's hard to, when you're winning the way you guys are, it's hard to sometimes find things. I know you probably have dissected to the core, but for the rest of us on the outside looking in, hard to find things to pick at. But I'll go to your punt return game. I'm sure you'd probably like to get a little bit more out of it. It seems like you either get no return or very little. What would you like to see with the punt return game?
We've been working on it, and you could see that, like, Easton's back with Miles, and we're trying, to set up a wall and make a return right or left and maybe do a reverse out of it. So, we're trying to get ways to, again, to me, it's another offensive play. It's a chance to get one of our skills guys with the ball in his hand. But there's a lot of detail to that. Everyone's got to get to where everyone on that team has a job, whether it's rushing the punter or blocking a certain person. So if we execute it well, it could be a big play.
Do you think teams kicking away from you has something to do with it also?
I mean, we adjust to what they adjust to. Amboy kicked right to Miles last week. I don't see that happening tonight, but we are usually ever changing on the sideline. Whatever we see that the other team is doing, special teams wise, if they have a game plan with specials. I know with us, we always have a game plan with that, and we're always trying to find, even if it's the smallest thing in the world, to find a weakness on their specials to make a big play.
Any thoughts on senior night tonight? As you know, of course, the seniors, this is their night before the game at least. Any thoughts?
It's a good honorary game for the guys that have busted their butt for 4 years. We have a great senior class. They've been through the down and the up in Raider football. And, you can't ask much more from that group, all 15 of them. And we love them to death. And I hope they come out and perform tonight and make it a memorable night for themselves.
What have you told them? Maybe you tell them tonight, but what have you told them, either going to tell them or have told them before the game tonight?
Just to enjoy it. There's not many more days and weeks left that they're all going to be together in the locker room with this group. They can see each other outside of football and wherever else years down the road, but having this camaraderie in the locker room, it's special. So they don't have many weeks left. Hopefully there's more, obviously, and so I want them to enjoy it and, have the best of times with it.
Talking again with Raiders head football coach Mike Seipot, and we'll get to their opponent now, East Brunswick. Their offense, Tim Goodzak is number 18, lines up at quarterback most of the time. I'll get to the other guy in a minute, but big, tall, strong kid. For my 2 cents, I usually don't interject my opinion here, but my 2 cents, if you can meet him at the line of scrimmage or behind it, I think you're better off, because once he gets a 2 or 3 yard head start, he might be hard to bring down. And then there are other guys, Joe DeGuida, number 16. He'll line up at quarterback sometimes, and they'll run things from there. Those two guys seem to be the main characters for East Brunswick. How do you put a plan together to try to stop them?
They're aggressive. We gotta own the line of scrimmage tonight. They're aggressive up front. Obviously, those two guys, 18 and 16 in the backfield, are excellent. I think they do a good job with each other. I know 18 can block. He could certainly run the ball. We have to find some tendencies in what they do. We have to make sure when we get a chance to hit him, we get a good smack on him, and because he also plays defense. So our game plan is to attack him and. On both sides of the ball, so hopefully we're the winners in that matchup.
And then finally, this is pretty much the same question I asked you last week. Last week you guys went 47-0 over Perth Amboy. I know Brad Bishop for Perth Amboy wasn't exactly thrilled at the end of the game, but that's you guys do what you have to do to move up in Central Jersey Group 5 here. You're trying to get to the 2 seed. So I'll ask you what I asked you last week. If you have the opportunity to stretch the lead towards the end of the game, do you take it, or is the starters or the health of the starters become more important?
I mean, you have to. It depends what gets thrown at you at the game. Is it a game like last week where, there's not a bad bone in my body that wants to embarrass or run up the score on anybody. But in the circumstances of what we're in with the, playoff system, you almost kind of have to. And you almost want to give the guy a heads up before the game and say, hey, listen, there's no hard feelings. But, we're trying to get, a high seed, a 2 or 3, whatever it may be. So if that means scoring another touchdown in the fourth quarter when on a normal system you would have your JVs in already. But again, tonight, obviously we were down 2 quarterbacks also. Both of our backups were hurt, so we were kind of pressed to see what we do and who goes in. So tonight we'll see what it takes us, where we have to be and, what the situation is. Obviously, I don't want to show up anyone. That's not my nature. But if the situation calls for to try to win by more than 35, then so be it.
Head coach Mike Sipot again for the Raiders as they take on East Brunswick on senior night, last game of the regular season before the state playoffs. So, Coach, thank you, and good luck tonight.
Thank you.
And there you hear from Raiders head football coach Mike Sipot as we get ready for North Brunswick and East Brunswick. And you heard Coach Sipot there in his last comments that, listen, we're trying to get a number 2 seed here for the state playoffs. We got to do what we got to do. And so if it means that we got to score an extra touchdown towards the end of the games, so be it. And the other guy will just have to understand, and in this case that would be East Brunswick and head coach Bob Molars if it does come to that. But we'll see. We'll see what happens, what transpires. East Brunswick, certainly capable of putting up points. We talked about they scored 52 against Monroe last week, 53 against Monroe last week. So they are certainly capable of putting points up on the board and staying competitive. So we'll see what happens. Right now, the senior night festivities are going on. Mr. Jason Swain, I'm trying to adjust my microphone here, which is always, but Mr. Jason Swain on the public address, and he's introducing right now the senior cheerleaders. I will do that real quick, and then we'll get to the players. We'll probably go live mic here for the players, but for the seniors, class of 2019, the cheerleaders: Julia Marone, Rebecca Robles, Kelsey McCann, Kaylee Guidis, Adriana Figueroa, Sade Dorch, Lazima Gayflor, and National, let me see if I get this right, Nashelin Reyes. And so those are your senior cheerleaders. And by the way, we talked to the senior captains, a couple of the senior captains. You'll hear that at halftime from Kelsey McCann and Sade Dorch, nice enough to join the broadcast. And so they will be on at halftime to talk about some Lady Raiders cheerleading. And so also Danny Nudelman will be on with us as well to talk about the North Brunswick Marching Band and what they've been up to. They've won a couple of awards here, or won a big award, and have a couple of other events throughout the course of the season. So we'll talk to Danny Nudelman. So we're going to turn it over to Jason Swain here in just a second with the announcement of the senior players. Right now, the team managers being announced. So we'll go ahead and let them do that. So let's see. The team managers: Maria Ferreira, Megan Flynn, Kayla Turner, Ava Koras, and Ariana Kravitz are the managers. And I see, some of them out here at practice, during practice time and things like that. And so, it's a long day. Here we go. Jason Swain.
He's escorted by his mom, Bruce, his dad, Ramon, his number 1 sister, Robin, his number 2 sister, Gisela.
I think what we'll do is I'll go ahead and just do it because the PA, for some reason, I guess there's been some issues with the public address volume. The speakers just haven't been real loud. They're pretty loud out here, but in this case, not so much. But I'll start with our senior night introductions. I will start as far as the players go. The number 74, Geraldine Rodriguez. Geraldine, I actually met him. He was working at McDonald's last year. I don't know if he's still there. I haven't seen him, but over on George's Road there. But nice young man. Met him a couple of times in the drive-through window there. So very nice young man. So congratulations to him. Let's see here as I'm just going through the list. So our next senior is number 72, Marlon Belton. And now Derek Dumashi comes out. Actually, first, let's see. I see a 53. Yep, that's Derek Dumashi. And he is escorted to the field by number 57, Mike Gonzalez, and also one of his parents. So as we continue on here, there's Dumashi. Samir Session, who has made some good plays on defense for the Raiders this year. Oh, wants to be an FBI agent. There's Tyree Geeston, escorted by his mom. Tyree has made acrobatic catch after acrobatic catch this year, and also a little bit last year as well, navigating the sidelines, the back end of the end zone. So Tyree Geeston, has definitely contributed to a part of the Raiders' success this year. Let's see, Tyler Jordan, who early on in the season, really played well for the Raiders. And of course, Mike Sipot, the first one out to greet each senior. But Tyler Jordan escorted by his mom. At least I think that's his mom. Might be his older sister for all I know. But there's Manny Herrera coming up. So Manny, and of course we talked to Manny Herrera and Sean Brahini in the Raiders Spotlight coming up. East Brunswick, of course, still in the locker room out of respect. And so Brandon Outlaw comes out. Brandon, of course, the first Raider since 2015, and Elijah Hicks to have an interception in 3 straight games. So a big year for Outlaw as he comes out with his family. And now Tyshawn Parson will come out. And big brother Tim Parson, who is in the Raiders record books as a starting quarterback. Tyshawn, one of the linemen for the Raiders. Here comes Aaron R., who is a wide receiver, defensive back, and kicker for the Raiders. R., the first Raider to make a field goal for North Brunswick since 2010. R has 2 field goals on the year. The last time a Raider kicked 3 field goals in a season would be Michael Curran in 2008, so we'll see if Aaron can get to do that before the end of the year. G.D. Marcellus, number 14. G.D., battling some injuries, but back out on the field and making tackles. Fumble recovery last year for the Raiders was Mr. Marcellus. And so Angel Gonzalez, 2-way lineman, plans on joining the Marines. We actually interviewed Angel on opening night before the Raiders took on St. Joe's. Angel is a team captain. He makes his way out onto the field. Sean Brahini, who is also in our Raiders Spotlight, we'll run that on the other side. Sean Brahini and Manny Herrera in our Raiders Spotlight, but Patricia and Jim Brahini escorting Sean, along with his younger brother Danny. Sean had an interception for a touchdown last week, along with a receiving touchdown on offense. So big year for Sean. And then senior quarterback Christian Petrillo, led by his parents Dean and Blair Petrillo, along with older brother Tyler. Petrillo on his way to southern New Hampshire to play baseball. And Chich evidently, has time to read my tweets on Twitter. No, I appreciate it. I appreciate tweets. I appreciate Chich paying attention to my tweets. So, very much appreciate it. Now, I was saying, I had asked if the Raiders could still, do what they have to do against East Brunswick and keep the starters healthy and still raise their standing in the Born Power Index. And Chich said, yeah, why not? We could do both. So, let's see. I think we got one more here. Oh, I see. I think one of the cheerleaders was not announced, so they take care of that. All right, so with that, no break here. What we'll do is we'll go right to Manny Herrera and Sean Brahini in our Raiders Spotlight. And then when we come back from that, we'll do this date in Raiders football history. We'll get you ready for North Brunswick and East Brunswick. But first, I had a chance earlier today to catch up with seniors Sean Brahini and Manny Herrera and talk to them about their season and about Raiders football. So here's my conversation with those two gentlemen.
Here with Sean Brahini, the Raiders' big game last week for Sean. 2 touchdowns, one on each side of the ball, one on offense, and then the interception return for a touchdown, which the Raiders hadn't had a pick six in 6 years, and then 2 weeks in a row, outlaw last week, and then you, or outlaw 2 weeks ago, and then you last week. Last week, was that the best game of your career, best game of your life, or did you feel like you had a better game before that?
I would say not the best game. I've had games where I played real tough before. That was certainly a fun game to be a part of and to play with, but I can't name a specific game, but I'd say I played just as tough in other games.
Was it because maybe you had more tackles in another game or something like that?
Yeah, I had a lot more tackles in other games. This past game I didn't really get a chance so much, didn't run outside as much, but I did what I could do.
Which side of the ball do you have to work harder at, offense or defense? Which side requires kind of more work or more practice time?
I'd say I get a pretty fair amount of practice on both sides. Defense is a lot more physically demanding each play, especially because I got to contain the outside. But both, I try to emphasize both in practice.
Tonight's senior night, so what does senior night mean for you?
It's exciting to be out there playing on my senior night. I watched the seniors in the past. And I'm just excited to go out there and play for the fans.
And, what has the success of the team been like for you? 7-1, and you were here a couple of years ago when it was the exact opposite. What's it been like with the team being as successful this year?
It's definitely a big difference from 2 years ago. It took a lot of hard work, a lot of determination, and staying together to do it. But this year, everyone's together. We're working hard, practicing hard every day. And we just hope to keep that going in the playoffs. And
state playoffs are a week away. You got to get through East Brunswick first, but do you guys feel like you're ready to move this to the next level now?
We do. The coach has talked about going from a great program to an elite program, so we've been emphasizing a lot of little things in practice, getting ready for the playoffs, but of course we got tonight first. So
Sean Brahini gets ready for tonight again against East Brunswick and then the state playoffs after that. So congratulations on graduating later on, and good luck to you tonight.
Thank you.
Here with the one and only Manny Herrera as the Raiders get ready here on senior night for North Brunswick and East Brunswick. So first thing I'll throw at you is you're in the top 10 now in receptions in Raiders history, so you're in the history books now. You'll be on the program next year when they put it out there for next year's games. Does that mean anything for you that now you're part of all of the names of the past here?
Yeah, I mean, it's something that I work for, and Chich throwing me the ball and me just making plays.
Absolutely. Speaking of Chich, you and I have talked about this before. You guys have played together a long time, so what will it mean? What's the best part of playing with Chich as you look back now? You're almost at the end.
Me and Chich have been playing football together since we were in Pop Warner, and we were really young, and we just got good chemistry.
And that's the best part, is the chemistry?
Yeah.
As far as senior night itself, when you walk out on the field, what are you thinking about?
It's just a special moment, and it's about to be just a memory that I'm going to remember for the rest of my life.
State playoffs are next week. Of course, you have East Brunswick first, and the coaches are always been very good about keeping you guys focused on the game in front of you. But, you get to go to the state playoffs for the second year in a row. How special will that be?
It's cool because I haven't been in the playoffs. I've only been in the playoffs twice in my whole life, and it's been the past 2 years. So,
what's the biggest memory that you'll have as a Raider?
Making the playoffs last year, and the energy we felt after we beat Perth Amboy and clinched that.
And then finally defensively, you've been able to make some plays on defense. What's that been like, being able to contribute on defense? And you guys, shut out Perth Amboy last week. You held Carteret to 7 points the week before. What's it been like being able to contribute and make plays on defense?
It's good because our coaches has everybody pursuing to the ball. He emphasizes that, and we all just play hard. Yeah.
And just now you get to leave it all on the field the rest of the way?
Yeah.
All right, Manny Herrera, again, nice enough to join us. Again, top 10 now all time in receptions for the Raiders. Hey, thanks a lot, and good luck to you the rest of the year, all right?
All right, thank you.
There you hear from both Sean Brahini and Manny Herrera of the North Brunswick Raiders football team. Looks like the choir is ready to sing the national anthem. So what we'll do is we'll take a break. And when we come back, we'll still do this date in Raiders football history. As a matter of fact, we'll just do that right now. And then we'll go into our live game coverage of North Brunswick and East Brunswick on senior night. This has been your Raiders Live pregame presented by the Cal team at Remax Country on the King James Radio Network.
It's time for this date in Raiders football history, where we take a look back at the archives of North Brunswick Raiders football here on the King James Radio Network. On October 26, 1985, the Raiders pitched a shutout with a 36-14 win over Middlesex. Charlie Schiermeyer had a pair of touchdowns, finishing with 115 yards on 30 carries. Dean Petrillo had a couple of interceptions on defense, not to mention kicking 4 extra points. 1990, North Brunswick picked up another shutout with a 14-0 win over Red Bank. Raiders quarterback Kevin Saeda threw for a score and ran for one. Steve Betker ran for 114 yards on 19 carries. Don Caruso blocked a punt on special teams, and Jeremy Cagle intercepted a pass on defense. 2007, it was North Brunswick over Perth Amboy, 27-7. 309 yards on the ground and 3 touchdowns for Prushawn Brown, and Bobby Swarchek also had a touchdown reception. That is a look back on this date in Raiders football history. We'll be back with more of North Brunswick Raiders football on the King James Radio Network.
This is the King James Radio Network, your radio home for North Brunswick Raiders sports, Restoration Place, Timothy Christian Tigers basketball, the Cal Ripken Baseball District Championships, the Ladies of Our Turf football, and the Jersey Basketball Association.
We are the North Brunswick Raiders cheerleaders. It's time for Raiders football on the King James Radio Network.
You play to win the game. You don't play to just play it. That's the great thing about sports. You play to win. And I don't care if you don't have any wins. You go play to win. When you start telling me it doesn't matter, then retire. Get out.
And it's a pleasant Friday evening to one and all, and we welcome you to Steve Lebro Field in North Brunswick, New Jersey, where tonight Raiders football is on the King James Radio Network. North Brunswick Raiders football, that is, as the North Brunswick Raiders tonight take on the East Brunswick Bears in a GMC crossover matchup. North Brunswick comes in at 7-1 under second-year head coach Mike Sidepot, while the Bears of East Brunswick, they are approaching the field right now. They come in at 1-6, getting their first win last week under sixth-year head coach Bob Molars. And so let's get you our game time temperature before I forget, because generally I do. Our game time temperature is presented by the Weather Channel. Mostly cloudy skies, 46 degrees at kickoff. The Raiders are 2-10 lifetime against East Brunswick. They did beat the Bears in 2014. And they put a good beating on East Brunswick that day. 40-14 was the final. 40-13, excuse me. Joe Castellanos had a big day with a couple of touchdowns for the Raiders that day. And Kevin Poindexter, I believe he threw 4 touchdown passes, if I'm not mistaken, in that game. And that was the first win for the Raiders here on the newly refurbished Steve Lebro Field. They had redid the field, the bleachers, the press box, everything, the food stand, everything. They renovated the whole, place in 2014, and that was the first win that the Raiders had after they, refurbished the field and all of that. So the Raiders are in their blue jerseys as East Brunswick comes out, but the Raiders are in their blue jerseys with the white numbers trimmed in gold. They have the blue helmets with the stars on the left, double gold stripe down the middle, and then the player jersey number on the right side of the helmet. East Brunswick, they're in their white jerseys, green numbers, green pants, white helmets with the EB logo on the side of the helmet. A lot of the players for East Brunswick wearing pink socks. It is still Breast Cancer Awareness Month here in the month of October. So East Brunswick, most of the guys wearing the pink socks. So team captains Christian Petrillo, Angel Gonzalez, Miles Bailey, and Sean Berhini will be out to midfield. I'll see if I can get a grasp of who the team captains are for the Bears here. Looks like Joe DeGuida, Tim Goodzak out there. And those are the two main men on offense for East Brunswick that you'll see behind center or in one way, shape, or form touching the football. Also out there for East Brunswick, number 11, Drew Brenner. And let's see if they bring a fourth man out here. No, just those three. So those three guys with arms locked together. The Raiders captains with hands joining hands as they come out to the midfield logo. So the referee will, of course, flip the coin here. But the Raiders looking for their 8th win of the year, rather. The Raiders have not had 8 wins in a season since 2000. The school record is 9 wins. The 1979 team had it. The 1985 team had 9 wins, and the 2000 team had 9 wins. So the Raiders have never won 10 games in a season. They're 2 wins away from that. But East Brunswick has won 4 of the last 5 in this series. It looks like the Raiders have won the toss here. So they will receive to start the game as they did last week. And if you remember, for those of you guys that listened last week, the Raiders got the toss to start the game last week. Perth Amboy kicked it out of bounds. Mike Sipot made him kick it again. Perth Amboy kicked it down the middle of the field to Miles Bailey. And 87 yards later, the Raiders were leading 6-0. So we'll see if that. Have you heard Mike Sipot allude to it in our pregame that he doubts East Brunswick will kick the ball down the middle of the field again, or the second team in a row to kick the ball down the field. But we'll see. Stranger things have happened. Again, if we have any updates on Sayreville and Piscataway, Sayreville and South Brunswick, we will pass that along. Piscataway played earlier today. Some changes in the schedule this weekend because of the big nor'easter coming in this weekend. The Piscataway game got moved to 3:15 this afternoon. I know that they beat Westfield. So Miles Bailey is the deep man back for the Raiders, along with DeMonte Blunt and Brandon Outlaw. And again, the Raiders will go from left to right here. Max Dressler, number 5, will kick off here for the Bears. And so the Raiders will receive first. And so East Brunswick will split into their formation. And, with a win tonight, of course, the Raiders go to 8-1 as Dressler with a high kick over to the far side, caught at the 17 by Brandon Outlaw, spins out of one tackle and gets hit at the 20, gets a couple more yards to about the 22, and that's about it. So the Raiders will have it from there, 1st and 10 under senior quarterback Christian Petrillo. Petrillo on the season has 653 passing yards with 10 touchdowns and 4 interceptions. 348 rushing yards with 4 touchdowns for Chich. So 1st and 10 Raiders here from their own 32-yard line. And now coming in motion to the near side is going to be Miles Bailey. He gets the handoff on a sweep coming around to the sideline, and he's forced out of bounds at about the 41. So Bailey with a gain of 8 on that one. That'll bring us to 2nd and 2 from the 41. Raiders upping the tempo, no huddle. Bailey behind Petrillo, now moves to the right of Chich. And out of the shotgun, takes the snap, hands off to Bailey up the middle, 1st down, 45, and is tackled at about the 48. On the tackle, number 84, Brian Whitelock for East Brunswick. So first couple of touches here for Bailey. Oh, wait a minute. Holding against the Raiders, it looks like, so it will come back. So holding against North Brunswick here, and it's going to come all the way back to the 33-yard line, back to the original line of scrimmage. So it will be 2nd and 10. Just over a minute gone by in the first quarter. 3 receivers left here for North Brunswick, including Aaron R.Y. to the left. Brandon Outlaw slot left. Out of the gun, Chich will hand off to Bailey and gets to the 35. That's about it. So in on the stop for East Brunswick, number 79, Yusef Gamel, among others. So they'll spot it just in front of the 35. So we'll call it 3rd and 8 from the 35-yard line. Petrillo with Bailey to his right. Chich out of the shotgun, takes the snap, dropping back the pass here, looks, throws it over the middle, completes it to Manny Herrera at the 45, 50, near side, 45, and down at the East Brunswick 42. And again, Brian Whitelock on the tackle, but not before Raiders first down to Manny Herrera. Herrera now in the top 10 in receptions in Raiders history. Gets it to the East Brunswick 42. Gain of 23, 1st and 10. Out of the shotgun will be Petrillo, Bailey to his left. Now Chich will look to the sideline here. 2 receivers left. Outlaw wide to the right. Petrillo out of the gun, takes the snap, hands off to Bailey, goes off tackle right, 40, loose, 35, breaks a tackle, 30, and is out of bounds inside the 30. On the stop for East Brunswick, I do not have a number 4 on my roster, but that is who made the stop. So Bailey down to the 22. That's a gain of 20. 1st and 10 Raiders. Petrillo out of the shotgun with Bailey to his right. Brahini in motion to the far side. Takes the snap. Hands off to Bailey. Cuts it back up the middle. Breaks a tackle. 20, 15, another tackle. 10, 5. Touchdown North Brunswick Raiders. Miles Bailey. Page 10 of the bailout plan for Miles Bailey. And the Raiders lead it 6-0. That's Bailey's 10th rushing touchdown of the year. Career touchdown number 26 for Bailey. And he is 7 behind Aaron Hicks for the all-time Raiders rushing touchdown record. Whoop. Actually, never mind. Holding on North Brunswick. Well, so much for that. So the Raiders called for their second holding penalty on this drive. And it'll come all the way back to the 33. So 1st and 21 you're looking at with 9:06 to go here in the first. This time Chris Arnold in the backfield behind Christian Petrillo. 2 receivers left. Now Arnold moves to the left of Chich. Coming in motion is Brandon Outlaw to the far side. Takes the snap. Rolling left is Chich. Looks, throws it left, completes it to Outlaw. And at the 31, he is tackled there. Whitelock on the tackle for East Brunswick. Chich needs about, a couple of hundred and change to become North Brunswick's all-time passing leader. Chich, I'll give you the number in a minute, needs 224 yards coming into the game. Gain of 2, 2nd and 19 from the 31. The Raiders have to get down to the East Brunswick 12-yard line. 8:28 to go in the first, no score. Split backfield, Bailey to the right and Outlaw to the left. Chich out of the gun, takes the snap. Fakes to Bailey, throws it up the middle, completes it to Outlaw at the 30, 20, and nope, tackled 25 rather. Tackled at about the 25. Drew Brenner on the stop. So that brings us to 3rd down. Ball is at the 25. 3rd and 13. 2 receivers left for Petrillo. If you count Herrera, 3 out of the gun. Chich takes the high snap, rolling left out of the pocket, and he'll run. 30, far side, 25, 20 along the sideline. 10, 5, trying to dive for the pylon. Does he get there? And it's a touchdown, North Brunswick Raiders. Christian Petrillo diving towards the goal line in the front left corner of the end zone. It's 6 for Chich, and the Raiders lead it 6-0. Rushing touchdown number 5 on the season for Petrillo. And Aaron R. will kick the extra point. Petrillo has to get the tee. Of course, coming into tonight, Miles Bailey with 839 rushing yards on the year, but it's Petrillo that gets the touchdown as R's kick towards the left is no good. He missed it. And so extra point, no good. And so with 7 minutes and 34 seconds left to go in the first quarter, the Raiders lead it by a score of 6-0. We'll break, and we'll come back in a moment with North Brunswick Raiders football on the King James Radio Network.
I'm Brett Favre. As a quarterback in the NFL, if I didn't stay focused, I ended up on my back or worse. Even the smallest distraction could make a good play or offensive drive come to an end. When you're in a car, the smallest distraction could end much more than a drive. It could end someone's life. Just like I refuse to lose on the field, I refuse to lose someone I love to distracted driving. And you should too. Focus on the road. Don't drive distracted. A message from Farm Bureau Insurance.
We come back to Steve Lebro Field as the Raiders lead it by a score of 6-0. And so a high kick from Aaron R. going towards the right side, and it bounces out of bounds. Bounced out of bounds as Drew Brenner let that go. So a flag down on that. And it looks like East Brunswick will be inclined to take it at their own 35-yard line. So the Bears come out with quarterback Tim Goodzak, 6'4", 215 pounds. He's a senior. Goodzak has 557 passing yards on the year, 3 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. He's also got 358 rushing yards with 4 touchdowns. Joe DeGuida is the other guy to worry about. He's lined up behind center. He's going to take the snap. DeGuida will. No, Goodzak will move to the left of DeGuida, and DeGuida takes the snap. He'll run off tackle left, and G.D. Marcellus makes sure that he is down at the 35. So no gain there for DeGuida. It will be 2nd down and 10. You'll see DeGuida line up some behind center, but mostly Goodzak. DeGuida has 666 rushing yards on the year with 5 touchdowns. And he's 5'11", 185, a junior. So 2nd down and 10 from the East Brunswick 35, 6:56 to go in the first. This time out of the shotgun, and running right is DeGuida, and he runs smack into Marcellus, who brings him down at the 38. So the first couple of touches goes to DeGuida. They'll mark it at the 39. Gain of 4. It'll be 3rd down and 6. 6.5 to go in the first. Looks like we're going to have 4 wide receivers here for the Bears. 2 to each side. And now Goodzak out of the shotgun here. With a back to his left, takes the snap, dropping back, looking, throws it right side, along the sideline, incomplete. A little too high for Drew Brenner. And that'll be 4th down. So 4th and 6 from the 39 will force East Brunswick to punt. As Dressner will go back to punt. Max Dressner. Miles Bailey and Tyree Geeston back deep for North Brunswick, standing at their own 35. Dressner at his own 25 takes the snap. And a high short kick will land at the 43 and take a East Brunswick bounce past the 40, past the 35, and out of bounds. So it will be 1st and 10, North Brunswick at their own 35-yard line. But yeah, Miles Bailey with 839 yards and now coming into tonight and 9 touchdowns on the season. You can erase that touchdown he had on the holding call, so still at 9 for the year, which means he has 25 for his career. 8 away from Aaron Hicks's all-time record. 1st and 10 from the 35 for Christian Petrillo. Out of the shotgun with Bailey behind him. In motion is Leon Lowry. Takes the snap, pitches to Bailey. He's got room. 35-40 to the near side. 45-50. And pushed out of bounds at the 40-yard line. Forcing him out was Brian Whitelock, number 84. Of course, ball now at the 43-yard line of East Brunswick. Gain of 23, first down and 10. Three receivers left. Petrillo with Chris Arnold to his right. Out of the shotgun, takes the snap, hands off to Arnold up the middle, and he'll get a couple here. Across the 40. Before being tackled by Carlos Tapia. Tapia as a linebacker and a tight end. Meanwhile, Arnold gets it to the 39. So gain of 4, 2nd and 6. We have 5:22 remaining in the first. Split backfield here. Raiders lead it 6-0. Out of the gun, Petrillo takes the snap, hands off to Arnold, up the middle, 35, 30, breaks a tackle, spins out of another, still going, and down at the 28. Another power run for Chris Arnold. Brenner on the tackle, injured man down for East Brunswick back at the 43. And so athletic trainer Jackie Morrison for North Brunswick out to check on the injured player. Don't know who it is yet. But, of course, that Raiders offensive line with Tyrell Pereira, Michael Ladjack, Amon Maiden, Angel Gonzalez. So, I think I have an idea who it is, but I don't want to say for sure yet until I know. But ball is at the 29-yard line of East Brunswick, so it's a 10-yard gain for Arnold. So it will be 1st and 10 when we come back. My thanks, by the way, to Mr. Jason Swain on the public address for making that announcement. So we will break here for the injury timeout, and then we will come back with the Raiders leading by a score of 7-0 with 5:08 to go in the first. We'll break. We'll come back on the King James Radio Network. Well, it looks like they're going to take the young man off the field here. Couldn't quite catch. 66? 62. Jason Swain is right on it again this week. Let's see, 62, that would be Zaman Parsa, who is a sophomore. So play will resume. 1st and 10 Raiders from the East Brunswick 29. Petrillo out of the gun, takes the snap. Bailey pitches it, and it's dropped. He pitched it to Outlaw, or check that, Rami Berberina, who's coming off of injury, fumble. And I believe East Brunswick did recover it. It went to Bailey. He tried to pitch it to Berberina on a trick play. And Berberina dropped it and hit the ground. And East Brunswick will have it at their own 35-yard line. So an opportunity for the Raiders there goes by the boards. So the Bears will have it. 1st and 10 from the 35. DeGuida is behind center and out of the shotgun, tries to go left and runs into Samad Wingo at about the 36. And you're not too many guys are getting by Wingo. So we'll call it a gain of 1 for DeGuida. It'll be 2nd down and 9 from the 36 with 4:19 to go in the first. And again, the Raiders with a 6-0 lead. Brenner is lined up wide to the right. Single back to the left of Goodzak out of the shotgun. Goodzak, quick throw to the right and completes it at the 41. And Brahini, Brenner making the catch. Brahini and Samir Session, among others, forcing him out. So that'll bring a third down for East Brunswick here from the 44. So that was a gain of 8. It'll be third down and 1. Brenner has 170 yards receiving on the season, so he's caught 14 passes coming into tonight. So third and 1 East Brunswick from the 44. Trips left for the Bears. And Goodzak out of the shotgun. Takes the snap. He'll run off tackle right. And 45, did he make enough progress for a first down? Brahini among others on the tackle. And it is an East Brunswick first down. Tara Pereira, Tyshawn Parson on that defensive line. But Goodzak gets enough for a first down. And so the ball is at the 45-yard line, first and 10. So out of the shotgun here is DeGuida with Goodzak to the left. And DeGuida will take the snap and try to run off tackle left, 45 to the 50. Mwingo and Chris Arnold bring down DeGuida. So ball is spotted at midfield. Gain of 5, second and 5 from the 50-yard line. 2:20 to go here in the first quarter. And again, the Raiders have a 6-0 lead here against East Brunswick. Keep in mind, North Brunswick trying to win by as many points as possible to give themselves the best chance to move up in the Central Jersey Group 5 playoffs. 2 receivers right for the Bears. And now going in motion is Tapia to the far side. Out of the shotgun, Goodzak takes the snap. He'll roll right. Looking, being chased, throws it right, and intercepted by Sean Brahini. Brahini back at the 43, and he is tackled at the East Brunswick 49. Second game in a row with an interception for Sean Brahini. Brahini gets the pick. And so the Raiders get it back, first and 10 at the East Brunswick 49-yard line. For Brahini, that is his third interception of the year. So first and 10 from the East Brunswick 49. Petrillo, with 2 receivers left, will work out of the shotgun. Miles Bailey to his right. Coming in motion now is Brandon Outlaw. High snap, fakes to Outlaw, shovel pass to Herrera, and breaks a tackle at the 48. Trying to get to the near side, trying to stiff arm a man at the 45, but he's brought down there. Then our infamous number 4 for East Brunswick. It'll be second down and 5 from the 44. So, that shovel pass has served the Raiders well. Second and 5 from the 44. Split backfield for Petrillo. Bailey to the left, Outlaw to the right. Petrillo takes the snap, hands off to Bailey, tries to go up the middle, and flag down. Back at the 46. Bailey gets to about the 43. But I have a feeling this is going to come back. Yep, holding against the Raiders. Third penalty for the Raiders here. All 3 have been holding calls here in the first quarter. It'll be from the spot of the foul. It'll go back 10 yards to the Raider 45. Loss of 11, second and 16 from the North Brunswick 45 with 52 seconds left in the first quarter. So Tyree Geeston now will go wide to the left. Brandon Outlaw slot left. And Bailey to the right. Petrillo takes the snap to Chich, throws it right side, completes it to R at the 50, and makes a move, spins 45 down at about the 42. Aaron R on the reception. So R making his way up the North Brunswick receptions chart as well as Manny Herrera. Ball spotted at the East Brunswick 43, so that is a gain of 12. You're looking at 3rd and 4 now. From the Bears 43 with 8 seconds left here in the first quarter. We'll see if they get a playoff. Petrillo with Bailey to his right, 2 seconds. Petrillo out of the gun, takes the snap, hands off to Bailey, breaks the tackle up the middle, 40, and down at the 35, where Whitelock makes the tackle, and that will end the first quarter. And that'll be a North Brunswick first down when we come back. 6-0 Raiders after 1. We'll break. We'll come back with the second quarter in a moment on the King James Radio Network. We come back here to Raiders football on the King James Radio Network, presented by the North Brunswick Baseball and Softball Association at nbbsa.com. Also, Route 1 Dental. Give them a call, 732-940-0222, or go to rt1dental.com. All right, so second quarter, the Raiders have a 1st and 10 at the East Brunswick 34-yard line. So Miles Bailey with a gain of 9 yards on that last play. North Brunswick 6, East Brunswick nothing here on senior night. So 1st and 10 from the 34. Christian Petrillo will work out of the shotgun with Bailey behind him. Takes the snap, pitches to Bailey. He'll come to the near side. 35, 30, and 25, and breaks the tackle and gets out of bounds right around the 25-yard line. Looks like a gain of 9 for Bailey. It will be 2nd down and 1. So the Raiders trying to get a 2-score lead here. Split backfield for Petrillo, 2 receivers right. Arnold to the left, Bailey to the right. Petrillo out of the gun, takes the snap, hands off to Bailey. Off tackle left, 30, 25, has a hole, breaks the tackle, 20, back to the outside, 10, 5, touchdown North Brunswick Raiders. Miles Bailey from 25 yards out. Flag at the end of the play, it looks like. But page 10 of the bailout plan from Miles Bailey. And the Raiders lead it 12-0. There is a flag down at the end of the play. Unsportsmanlike conduct against the Raiders, probably an excessive celebration penalty. But Bailey, with his 10th rushing touchdown of the year, now has 26 career-wise and is 7 away from the all-time Raiders record for rushing touchdowns by Aaron Hicks in 2003. Aaron R. will kick the extra point. The penalty will be assessed on the kickoff. Christian Petrillo to hold. Low snap. Petrillo gets it down. R's kick is good. With 11 minutes and 43 seconds to go in the second quarter, 13-0 Raiders. Will break. We'll come back on the King James Radio Network. We come back for the ensuing kickoff here as the Raiders lead it by a score of 13-0 over East Brunswick. 11 minutes and 43 seconds left here in the second quarter. Corbett Thompson here at jamesisking.com. Also on Facebook, you'll see us under King James Radio Network, and on Twitter at King James Radio 1. So Aaron R. will kick it, and this is a long kick all the way back to the 15-yard line. Dropped, but picked up at the 15, and Brenner brings it back, breaks a tackle, 30, 35, all the way to the 40-yard line before G.D. Marcellus makes the tackle. Drew Brenner on the return. So about a 27-yard return there for Brenner. And the Bears will have it. They'll mark it at the 39. So it'll be 1st and 10 from there. So we'll see what East Brunswick comes out with. And the Bears now going from left to right in the road white with the green numbers, green pants, and pink socks. So Goodzak out of the shotgun. He'll take the snap with DeGuida in motion, looks towards DeGuida, now looks, and he's going to be sacked. Manny Herrera getting to Goodzak. Goodzak was looking for a receiver downfield, and Herrera snuck in to get the sack. Ball is back at the 30-yard line. Loss of 9, 2nd and 19 for East Brunswick. For Herrera, that's his second sack of the year. Actually, I think it might be his third. But 2nd and 19 from the 30. 10:55 to go here in the second. Two receivers right for the Bears. And this time it'll be DeGuida out of the shotgun with Tapia in motion to the near side. DeGuida takes the snap, running right, looking for Goodzak to block, but here comes Samad Wingo. Over from the far side to the near side was Samad Wingo, and he chased down DeGuida. Back at the 27. Loss of 3, and it'll be 3rd and 22 for the Bears. They have to get to the East Brunswick 49-yard line for a first down. So East Brunswick up against it here. 3rd and 22 from the 27. Goodzak out of the shotgun and takes the snap, looks, and started to run right and then ran left, but nowhere to go. Looked like Tyrell Pereira was able to get there. And so, ball is back at the 22. Loss of 5, 4th and 27. The Bears will punt. Dressner will punt, standing at his own 6-yard line. Miles Bailey and Tyree Geeston back for the Raiders at the East Brunswick 46. Snap to Dressner, moves right, and will punt this away. This one a good one, a high kick. Bailey catches it at the Raider 47 and reverses field, makes a man miss, goes to the outside 50, 40, outside 30, still on his feet, and out of bounds. Inside the 25. Miles Bailey on the return. So a big return from Bailey. If I heard Mr. Jason Swain right, 34 yards. So the Raiders will have it 1st and 10 from the East Brunswick 16-yard line. So a very short field to work with here for North Brunswick and Christian Petrillo. Petrillo, who has 2 touchdown passes for 4 straight games. No Raiders quarterback has ever done that before last week. Petrillo with Arnold to his right, out of the gun, takes the snap, hands off to Arnold, goes up the middle and crosses the 15 down to about the 13 on the tackle for East Brunswick, number 67, Christian Richards. So it'll be 2nd down. Ball is at the, looks like the 13, so gain of 3. 2nd and 7 from the 13. Petrillo with Arnold to his left. Will work out of the shotgun, takes the snap, fakes to Arnold. He'll run, rolling left. Chich looking, throws it left side and caught inside the 5. Down at about the 3, Rami Berberina on the catch. Berberina coming back from a knee injury. Missed the last several weeks. Inside the 5 down to about the 4. Gain of 9, so it's 1st and goal from the 4-yard line. 8 minutes to go in the second. Raiders lead it 13-0. House formation around Petrillo. Takes the snap to Chich, gives to Bailey, off tackle right, stretches out over the goal line, and down at the 1. So Bailey getting 3 on 1st and goal from the 4. It'll be 2nd and goal from the 1. Looks like a sneak coming from Petrillo, and he'll try to get in. No signal yet. No, down at the 1. So Petrillo couldn't get it in there. So no gain. It'll be 3rd and goal from the 1-yard line with 7:12 to go in the half. This time, house formation around Petrillo. Outlaw to the left, Arnold to the right, Bailey behind Chich. And we get a whistle. And it looks like we have a flag down. All sides against East Brunswick. Well, really won't do much here, half the distance. So 3rd and goal from the half-yard line. Again, house formation here around Petrillo. Out of the shotgun. Petrillo high snap goes over his head past the 10-yard line and picked up by Chich. He'll try to run and trying to stiff arm a man at the 15, and now East Brunswick is all over him. So a bad snap went flying over the head of Petrillo and all the way back past the 20-yard line. And that's a big loss. So it'll be 4th down, and it looks like the Raiders are going to try to kick a field goal here. Aaron R. will try to kick this from 36 yards. R's range really goes around 35 or so. Snap, spot, R's kick. It's got the distance, and it is good. And for the first time since 2008 when Michael Curran did it, a Raiders kicker has 3 field goals in a season. So we will break here, and we will come back in a moment with the Raiders leading 16-0. We'll be back on the King James Radio Network.
Dana and Lisa here from Our Turf Football to tell you that the Our Turf podcast is up and running.
Did you know that women make up over 45% of all NFL fans and counting? Here at Our Turf, we have our own take on what's happening around the National Football League with special features, previews, reports from our official fan reporters covering each team, and interviews with players and personalities who have the scoop on what's happening. Women are in the know when it comes to football, and it's time the rest of the world knew it too.
Our Turf Football is every Tuesday night at 10 p.m. Eastern Time on the King James Radio Network at jamesisking.com.
We come back as Aaron R. will kick this off, and this is a long one, sailing towards the end zone, and it bounces out of the end zone for a touchback. East Brunswick had no chance for a return on that one. And so East Brunswick will have it at their own 20-yard line. It'll be 1st and 10 for the Bears. So the Raiders lead it 16-0 with 6:01 remaining here in the second quarter. I'm sure the Raiders would like to get more of a head of steam going here. But again, East Brunswick, they played Perth Amboy tough until Perth Amboy took over the game in the fourth quarter. Played Edison tough. So Goodzak will work out of the shotgun here with DeGuida to his left. Coming in motion is Tapia to the near side. Takes the snap, fakes the handoff to DeGuida running left, and he'll be down. Chris Arnold there to stop him, along with Samad Wingo. Gets to about the 25, so a gain of 5 for Goodzak. It'll be 2nd down and 5 from the 25 with 5:40 and counting remaining in the second. And if I can, like I said, if I can find an update for you guys on the Sayreville game, I'll get it to you. But 2nd and 5, from the 25, maybe after halftime, maybe even. So out of the shotgun here will be Goodzak. But check that, it goes to DeGuida. He'll take the snap and goes up the middle, but doesn't get much. Brought down by Wingo. So we'll call it no gain. And sideline warning against East Brunswick, it looks like. So not an actual penalty in terms of yardage. But no gain for Goodzak. It'll be 3rd and 5 from the 25-yard line. 4:45 left in the first half. 16-0 Raiders. 2 receivers, 1 to each side. And under center this time with Tapia in motion is Goodzak. He'll take the snap, hands off to DeGuida, and he's got room, 30, and knocked down at the 33. And that'll be good enough for an East Brunswick first down. Joe DeGuida. And we get a flag down, though, so wait a minute. And let's see what this is. Holding against East Brunswick. That will come back. So the Bears called for holding. That will bring it all the way back to the 16-yard line. So a loss of 9, 3rd and 14 it will be. From the 16. With 4:19 remaining in the half. And again, the Raiders lead it 16-0. Coming in motion to the near side is Brenner. Goodzak out of the shotgun, takes the snap, rolling right, looking, and still looking. He'll throw it near side, over the head of Brenner, incomplete. And so that will bring up 4th down. 4th and 14 from the 16, and East Brunswick will punt. At least I think they will. So Dressner will come out to punt. Miles Bailey and Tyree Geaston standing at the East Brunswick 40-yard line. So Dressner back inside the 5. He's at his own 3. Now the snap to Dressner, and he'll get this away. This is a high kick. Backing up is Geaston. He's got it at the Raider 49. Missed one tackle, but not another. Brought down back at the 45. On the tackle for East Brunswick is Jake Norris, number 59. And so the Raiders will start in their own territory here at their own 46, where it will be 1st and 10 with 3:51 remaining here in the first half. So the Raiders trying to, again, extend this lead here, something that we talked about with Mike Saipot in the pregame. So we'll see what the Raiders can do. So it'll be 1st down and 10. Again, from the 46, Petrillo will work out of the shotgun. Miles Bailey to his left. Herrera and Geaston to the left. Quick throw to the left, and Geaston at the 48 tackled, or check that, at the 43, tackled at the 46 by Brenner. Tyree Geaston on the catch. It'll be 2nd down and 10. No gain on that. From the 46 with 3:28 left in the half. This time split backfield for Petrillo. Outlaw to the left, Bailey to the right. Petrillo out of the shotgun, takes the snap, hands off to Bailey. He comes to the near side, 45, 50, up forward, 45, pushed out of bounds at the East Brunswick 40. Where it looks like he might have a 1st down. On the tackle for East Brunswick, number 66, Noah Keith. Or at least pushing him out of bounds anyway. So Bailey to the East Brunswick 39. 15-yard gain. 1st and 10. Split backfield. Petrillo out of the shotgun. Takes the snap. Hands off. No, keeps it himself. Pitches it back to Bailey. And he's out of bounds. Maybe behind the line of scrimmage. So we'll see where they spot this. They'll spot it back at the 41, so a 2-yard loss. 2nd and 12. From the 41, clock stops with 3:04 to go here in the 2nd. North Brunswick 16, East Brunswick nothing. Here on senior night. Again, we'll talk to a couple of the senior cheerleading captains at halftime for the Raiders, along with North Brunswick Marching Band director Danny Noodleman. So 2nd and 10 from the 41. Of course, the state playoffs are next week, and we get a whistle. Timeout, Mike Saipot and the Raiders. So with that, we'll break here, and we'll come back with a 16-0 lead for the Raiders. We'll break. We'll come back on the King James Radio Network. I found out that number 4 for East Brunswick is Derek Davis. His original number was 13. But the Raiders have it 2nd and 12 from the 41. Chitch out of the gun, takes the snap, pump fakes, coming to the near side, throws a deep ball left side, and out of bounds is Berberina. There's a flag down. Flag was thrown before Chitch ever threw the ball. So it might be a hold here. Nope. Face mask on the Raiders. And so that's going to set North Brunswick back here. So we'll see how far this goes. 2:56 remains on the half. And this one's going to come all the way back to the Raider 41-yard line. So from 41 to 41. So that's a loss of 18. You're looking at 2nd and 30. Raiders with their 4th penalty of the night. And these are the things that have to be taken care of before the state playoffs next week, regardless of who your opponent is. 2nd and 30 from the 41. 2 receivers right for Petrillo. Bailey to the right of Chich, out of the shotgun, takes the snap. Chich dropping back, and he'll roll, going right, running to the far side, and he'll step into one and throw it downfield, and incomplete. Intended for Miles Bailey. And Drew Brenner on the coverage. Third down and 30 from the Raider 41-yard line with 2:45 remaining here in the first half. So again, like I said, we'll see if we can find an update. Thanks to Greg Tafaro for sending out a shout here on his Twitter account. 3rd and 30 from the Raider 41. Petrillo out of the gun, takes the snap, and fakes the handoff. He'll keep it, running to the near side, 40, 45, and collision at midfield. Petrillo appears to be all right. But Brian Whitelock was the guy that he ran smack into at the 50-yard line in front of the Raiders bench. So a gain of 9 for Chich. 4th and 21 from the 50. We get a whistle here. Clock will stop with 2:37 to go here in the half. I think East Brunswick called time. So we'll break here. We'll come back in 30 seconds. This is North Brunswick Raiders football on the King James Radio Network. All right, so the update from the South Brunswick-Sayreville game is South Brunswick leads Sayreville 14-0, late first quarter. And that's important because the Raiders could end up getting a 2-seed if South Brunswick continues to pile it on there. But Aaron R. will punt on 4th and 21 from the 50. It goes over to the middle of the field. Dropped! The punt is dropped! Do the Raiders have it? They do! North Brunswick has it! Leon Lowry comes up with it. DeGuida looked like he was back there to receive the punt, dropped it, and Lowry jumped on it. And so the Raiders with a golden opportunity here to extend the lead. It will be 1st and 10 from the 11-yard line. Split backfield for Petrillo. He'll work out of the shotgun. Chich will take the snap here and hands off to Bailey and breaks a tackle at the 10, gets to about the 5. Before he is wrapped up there. Looks like Yusuf Gamel, among others, on the tackle there. So, ball at the 6. 2nd down and 5 from the 6-yard line with 2:01 to go in the half. Leon Lowry coming in for an offensive set here. Aaron R. wide to the right. Petrillo out of the shotgun. Bailey behind him. Now moves to the left. 16-0 Raiders. Petrillo takes the snap. Running left. 10, 5. Back up the middle. Dives into the end zone. Touchdown, North Brunswick Raiders. Christian Petrillo from 6 yards out It's 6 for Chich, and the Raiders now lead it 22-0. Petrillo's second rushing touchdown of the night. Aaron R. will come on to kick the extra point here. Petrillo to hold. Snap, high snap. Petrillo gets it down. R with the kick, and it is good. So with 1 minute and 38 seconds left to go in the second quarter, North Brunswick 23, East Brunswick nothing. We'll break. We'll come back with Raiders football on the King James Radio Network. We come back to Steve Lebro Field with 1 minute and 38 seconds left to go in the second quarter. And this has been all Raiders 23-0. North Brunswick in front. 2 men back deep here for East Brunswick. Looks like Brenner is back there. He will take the kick at the 3-yard line. And going left, 10, 15, 20, outside, 25, and tackled right at the number 30 on the 30-yard line. So East Brunswick will have it. 1st and 10 with 1:29 to go here in the second. They have all 3 of their timeouts, but they're down 23-0. East Brunswick has only been shut out once this year, and that came on opening night against Piscataway. They lost 41-0 that night. So 1st and 10 Bears from their own 30. 2 wide receivers to the right here, including Derek Davis in the slot. Goodzak will work out of the shotgun here with a back to his right. That's DeGuida, it looks like. Takes the snap and fakes the handoff to DeGuida. Dumps it in the flat to DeGuida. Going left, 35 now, 35. And tackled at about the 38. So DeGuida on the catch. Ball was at the 39. Gain of 9, 2nd and 1. With 1:03 to go. Here in the second quarter, East Brunswick in a huddle. I don't know if they realize they got less than a minute here. They have all 3 of their timeouts if they need to take one. Goodzak out of the shotgun with a back to his left, takes the snap, dropping back to pass, looking, and he'll run going left and breaks out a 1 tackle, but not another. Back at the 35-yard line, Manny Herrera gets there. And North Brunswick, do we have a timeout? Clock stopped at 33 seconds. There is a timeout. I didn't see who called it. I'm thinking North Brunswick called the timeout. Okay, Mike Sipot wants the ball back. So 33 seconds left in the half. We'll just go ahead and keep it here. Loss of 3 on the last play, so it'll be 3rd and 4 East Brunswick from their own 36-yard line. So Mike Sipot will try to get the ball back here and try to extend the lead. And again, that's what the whole factor with the Bourne Power Index is. It forces coaches to do things that they may not ordinarily do. And again, the Raiders find themselves at number 3 in Central Jersey, Group 5 coming into tonight. South Brunswick and Sayreville fighting for the top spot at number 1. And the loser could drop all the way down, in Sayreville's case, to 5. If, that's the worst case scenario for the Bombers. We'll check on them a little bit later. 3rd and 4 from the 36. Goodzak under center. Coming in motion is Tapia. Goodzak calling signals, and he'll take the snap, hands off to DeGuida, going left, and is tackled at the 40-yard line. Leon Lowry on the stop. Is it enough for a first down? We got 22 seconds left in the half. It is a first down. So DeGuida got the yardage he needed. 1st and 10 East Brunswick from the 40. 15 seconds left in the half. East Brunswick's in a huddle, and it looks like they're in no hurry to run a play. And I think they're just going to go into the locker room here. Yep, 8 seconds. They're just going to let it run out. And so, your score at halftime, North Brunswick 23, East Brunswick nothing. And so, the Raiders in control here. So we'll see what transpires in the second half. In the meantime, I had a chance over the past couple of days to catch up with the couple of the cheerleading captains for the Lady Raiders. So you will hear from them. And so, of course, here on senior night, you'll hear from Kelsey McCann and Sade Dortch, along with North Brunswick Township High School marching band leader Danny Noodleman. And so here's my conversation with those three young ladies as we are at halftime. And again, the Raiders lead it by a score of 23-0. When we come back after that, we'll try and get you an update from the Sayreville-South Brunswick game and also some halftime stats. So here's my conversation with, again, Danny Noodleman from the North Brunswick Township High School marching band, along with Kelsey McCann and Sade Dortch, the Lady Raiders cheerleaders.
Here with Kelsey McCann, one of the cheerleading captains for the Lady Raiders. As I always say that the cheerleaders, are pretty much, just as much a part of the game as the marching band or the concession stand or, what have you. They, enhance what's going on the field. And so Kelsey's nice enough to, stop by for a few minutes while the Lady Raiders are practicing here. My first question is, what age did you realize I'm pretty good at this? What age did you realize that, you would make a good cheerleader?
Well, I did MBI, our Pop Warner team, since 2007, but I really liked cheering on the football, or cheering for football more than I like cheering for basketball or cheering competitively, because I feel like there's so much going on with all of the fans, and it's nice under the lights and stuff. So really more, when I became a freshman, I realized I liked football more than basketball because I would cheer in 8th grade, but I didn't like basketball as much as I liked football.
What is it about football?
I don't know. I feel like, I understand football more than I understand basketball. And I think there's more hype going on in the game than basketball, just personally.
Well, football is definitely more intense.
Yeah.
I will agree with that. What, I know you guys have some competitions. I know there's a competition you guys are doing this weekend, GMCs, right? Yeah. So tell me about some of the competitions you guys have been in.
Well, we only do GMCs. We're not really that much of a competitive team, but we're most competitive in the game day division. So we would do a band dance and a cheer. So we do our Raider Nation cheer, and they're mostly looking for your spirit, how well you incorporate the crowd in your cheer, and how tight you are, and like the props you use.
And I know that specifically the GMC championships this weekend, so how much time goes into preparing for that?
Well, with the games, we try to spend minimal time practicing for the games when GMC is happening. So we've learned our routine for game day about maybe 3 weeks ago, and we've been cleaning it up and making it perfect for GMCs this weekend.
What's the hardest part about a setting like that? You got people from all over the area, so is it just a lot of people? What's the hardest part?
I'd say getting the crowd involved is the hardest part, because obviously not everyone goes to your school, so they're not as motivated to cheer for your school. But I think that just like trying to teach the girls who haven't cheered all their life to like involve the crowd is harder, because it's not like an acquired skill. You have to learn how to do it.
You're a senior, and a senior captain, so what goes into, what does that mean to you that the coaches have enough confidence in you to set an example, so to speak?
I think it means a lot. I think I realized that being a captain was a lot of more commitment when we went to camp, because we not only had to focus on just ourselves, but you have to make sure everyone else, like even our JV team, was accounted for and feeling okay during camp, and then coming into the season, making sure everyone knew their cheers, and it's more our responsibility to make sure every single girl knows the cheers more than it's the coaches.
And do you have any college plans yet, or no?
Yeah, I want to. Well, I don't know what. I want to go to a 4-year college to study secondary education for history.
And is this the kind of the end of your cheerleading days after this, or you want to continue in college, or no?
I haven't quite decided yet. It really depends on what school I go to, and either how good of a cheer team they have, or if they even have a football team.
All right, so Kelsey McCann, again, nice enough to step outside the room for a couple minutes and join us here just to talk a little Lady Raiders cheerleading. Thanks for a few minutes, and congratulations on your upcoming graduation, and good luck to you.
Thank you.
Earning an executive MBA at Georgetown isn't the path of least resistance, but it does come with the greatest reward. Benefit from our strong alumni network, renowned faculty, DC location, and global residencies. Get started at choosegeorgetown.com/EMBA.
Here with Sade Dortch, who is one of the cheerleading captains for the Lady Raiders, as they get ready for their big. You guys have a big GMC championship, coming up this weekend. So first, tell me about that. How excited are you guys to be in that, and obviously try to represent North Brunswick and the cheerleaders, of course.
Okay, so we're very excited to join the GMCs that's coming up this Sunday. We practice a lot, we do a lot of stunting, we cheer, we make sure we're in a good mood. We have a lot of new things and skills that we like to show to people, and we are very excited for this GMC coming up.
I was telling Sade, I saw her video on YouTube, so it's quite interesting. So she said a lot there, so I'll try to condense it. But you sing, you dance, you play the piano, you member of your church. With all of those things, what made you choose cheerleading?
I mean, I've been cheering since I was 6, so that's been a part of me for a very long time, and it's just something I've always liked to do other than singing and dancing and all that stuff. It's something I would like to join, especially for school sports and stuff. So, yeah.
And you have a future as a traffic controller, too, I see, if you choose to. What, establishing yourself as, I saw you said you were a mentor in your video as well. Does that make it easier to be a good example to the other cheerleaders?
Yes, it is. I like to, tell them to get on track, make sure your mind is focused, and all of this stuff. And I like being a mentor to cheerleaders. It's not really hard. It's kind of nerve-wracking sometimes, but when they're listening and everything's together, it's not that hard.
Understood. Where does that confidence come from? When you put yourself out there and some people can do it better than others. What gives you the confidence to just, put it all out there?
I don't know. It's just my confidence just comes from
parents.
Oh yeah, parents. My mom. Sorry, my mom. Okay, so she owns her own business, so she has to tell her employees what to do, what work they have incoming and stuff. So by me looking at that she has a lot of confidence. So for me to be picked as captain, I have to follow them traits of telling people where to go, what to do, and yeah.
How much of your personality do you put into this? How much, is it your personality, and how much of it is knowing the routines and everything else?
I mean, my personality toward the cheerleading team, I'm the goofy one. I'm always making jokes, making people laugh. So that's what I like to do, because that hypes the team up. That gets them in a good mood. And, yeah.
Do you have a favorite moment or a favorite game even that you guys were involved in?
My favorite moment was so we had to go to a cheer camp, and we've never placed first. And we won. That was our goal when we were there. So we wanted to place first, so we did a lot of practice, and we've been practicing in the morning to late at night, practicing for the cheer comp that we have on the last day. And surprisingly, we got first place for that game day. So that was my favorite moment, because, we put a lot of sweat and tears and hard work and dedication to doing this, and we ended up winning first place.
Was that this year?
Yes, that was this year.
Okay. Mm-hmm. I see you guys are getting the banner ready, so I was curious. My question is this, and it's a weird question, but you spend all that time to get that banner ready, and then the football team comes and breaks it into 20 pieces.
Yes.
I mean, is that, do you think, I don't know, what goes through your mind, I guess?
I mean, we do need a banner where it's like a banner that we can buy so the boys can go right through, and then we can just patch it on together. But we have to use the banner it's very annoying sometimes, for the boys to keep going through it, and then we have to make another one at the end of practice, and we be tired, so. Yeah.
I mean, what can you do? I know.
We got to raise money for that, so, yeah.
I understood. Any plans for college?
Oh yes, I want to major in computer programming. I've always loved computers, technology. So I plan on going to Montclair State University to pursue my dreams in computer programming, and also like singing and all that other side hustle on the side too. Yeah.
Okay. All right. And it's senior night. You guys have senior night as well. It's not just for the players. So, what do you think of when you think of senior night?
I might cry. Because when I think of that, I don't know if I'm cheering at college. So this is like, it's touching me because I've been cheering since I was 6 years old. So for this to be my last year, it's like, it hurts me. But, everybody grows up one day, so...
Hey.
Yeah.
Well, all good things come to an end. Shadi George, again, nice enough to join us here for a few minutes as the Lady Raiders, practicing here. So thank you for a few minutes and congratulations. And Montclair, did you say Montclair State? Yeah. So good luck and thanks again. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
At Hackensack Meridian Health, the most comprehensive healthcare system in New Jersey, our cancer program empowers patients to become partners in their treatment. With access to clinical trials as well as surgical, medical, and radiation oncology expertise, we're able to pioneer the possible with cancer care that's centered around you. To connect with a nurse or find a specialist, visit hackensackmeridianhealth.org. Hackensack Meridian Health, part of the Memorial Sloan Kettering Hackensack Meridian Health Partnership.
Here with Danny Noodleman, who leads the North Brunswick Township High School marching band. As the marching band, I always say about the cheerleaders, I say the same thing about the marching band. They're much as part of the peripheral of the game as a football or whatever sport it might be. That you had the cheerleaders, you had the marching band, you had the concession stand, you have all the different things that surround the game itself. And so I wanted to talk to Ms. Noodleman about the marching band. Now, I was reading, third straight year you've won an award from the National Association of Music Merchants as one of the best communities for music education. So you guys were one of 500 school districts to receive this award, and there's like 20,000 districts that actually can win it, and you guys were one of the ones that were chosen. So my question is, how much of that comes from just competing, and how much of it is just trying to focus on playing good music?
We're really lucky that the staff that we have in North Brunswick all works really well together, like vertically. So we have people who are working at the elementary schools and the middle school who also teach at the high school for marching band or jazz band or the percussion ensemble. So we have a really good collaboration between the whole staff. And a lot of it comes from, all of our district meetings together. We get together, we meet, how do we want to teach the kids? What do we want to teach the kids? How do we test them? How do we have common assessments and common goals to make sure that we're all on the same page? And we always really push our kids to, we're not trying to train music majors. We're trying to train kids who grow up and love music for the rest of their lives. And that's really the goal, mainly. Winning is great. Competing is awesome. It teaches them a lot of structure and rigor when it comes to being, in the marching band. But the best part about it is that we all work together to make kids love music, and that's the main goal for us.
When it comes to, you said that you're not necessarily trying to make great music. You're not necessarily looking for the next the next Rick Springfield or the next great musical genius. But what does it take for a student to, I don't want to say make the cut, so to speak, but what makes a good marching band student, if you will?
If they love what they're doing and they try really hard. That's the biggest thing with us. Like, we have a couple of rules, like, if we're up on the podium and our hands are up, your horns should be up and you should be ready to play. But the main rule, I guess, of being in the music department is just like, do you like what you're doing here? Are you having a good time? Are you getting something out of it? And we have plenty of kids who come back after graduating high school and they're like, hey, can I play with the band still? I still play trumpet. I'm majoring in medicine right now, but, brought my saxophone with me. And that's the biggest thing for us, is that they're lifelong music learners and lifelong music lovers. That's our thing here.
Talk to me about the various events that you guys do, obviously not just the football games, but some of the other things that you guys do throughout the course of the year.
Our first thing is always the Township 9/11 Memorial. We've been playing that for the last, I want to say 10 years. So it's really good to be a part of the town. The mayor and the administration is so supportive of us and the arts. We compete, though. So U.S. Bands is a circuit probably all over New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, Pennsylvania, Texas, and Maryland, really. And we compete against, really great bands from kids all over the state of New Jersey and Pennsylvania. And they get out there and they get judged by panels of professional musicians. And that's one of the best parts, is that we get other musicians' critiques of what we're doing with our kids, and they hear it from other professionals, like, how do I fix myself and my sound and my body? We do a lot of parades. Really anything that we can get the kids together playing music for, we say yes and we do it.
I saw that you guys are going to the state championships at Rutgers. Is that an invitation-only thing where, only selected schools get to go, or is that more of an open invite? How does that work?
It's really, if you want to go, you can go. But we didn't used to go. We were a smaller program about 8 or 9 years ago. And only the bands who really go to states compete heavily and win a lot. Like, that's a big thing for states. Is if you look around, we're a group 5, so we've got 115 kids in our band. So we're going against other really great big programs. We've been holding our own for the last 3 years. Like 2 years ago, our drumline got second in the state, and our color guard got second in the state. Last year, our drumline got third in the state. So we're really pushing it up against these really other big bands. And it is, and like I said, it is an open enrollment if you want to join the competition. But a lot of bands stay away from it because the competition is so steep. But we're not afraid. We like competing.
Is that this weekend?
Yeah, it's actually this Sunday.
Okay, so this Sunday at Rutgers. What's the main component that that drives you to be an effective band director? What's the thing that brings you back each year? Is it the students? Is it the music? What brings you back?
It's the shared love for music, whether you're 14 years old or 50 years old. Like, that's the biggest thing. All these kids show up here because they like playing their instruments, and I remember being 15 and wanting to play drums in the marching band. So I remember what it felt like being in the marching band and how much fun I had and how much I learned, and I just want to bring that same enjoyment and joy feeling to the kids.
And so there you have it from Danny Noodleman again, the band director here at MVTHS, as doing some big things. You heard some of the placements in different events that they've been in. So thank you for a few minutes, and I appreciate it. And of course, continued success to the marching band.
Great, thank you so much.
Raiders football this season is presented by the North Brunswick Baseball and Softball Association, Route 1 Dental, and the Cal team at Remax Country in Milltown. This broadcast is a production of the King James Radio Network, which is solely intended for the private use of its listening audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of this audio transmission without the written permission or consent from the King James Radio Network is strictly prohibited.
Dana and Lisa here from Our Turf Football to tell you that the Our Turf podcast is up and running.
Did you know that women make up over 45% of all NFL fans and counting? Here at Our Turf, we have our own take on what's happening around the National Football League with special features, previews, reports from our official fan reporters covering each team, and interviews with players and personalities who have the scoop on what's happening. Women are in the know when it comes to football, and it's time the rest of the world knew it too.
Our Turf Football is every Tuesday night at 10 p.m. Eastern Time on the King James Radio Network at jamesisking.com.
Yes, that's right, Dina. That's Dana and Lisa. I'm trying to combine their names. Dana and Lisa, the ladies of Our Turf Football, are on the King James Radio Network every Tuesday night at 10 p.m. Eastern Time, talking some NFL football at jamesisking.com. Right now, the marching band, the seniors, on the marching band seniors introduced here with their parents in front of the home crowd. So we are at halftime as the North Brunswick Raiders lead it over the East Brunswick Bears 23-0. Big thanks, by the way, to Greg Tafaro for providing me with an update there on the Sayreville-South Brunswick game. That game, last I heard from Greg, tied at 14 late in the second quarter in that game. So Sayreville has come back to tie that game. 14-14 is your score. Sayreville and South Brunswick probably right around halftime, I would say, is probably the case there. So with that being said, East Brunswick makes their way back out on the field. So we're going to take a quick break here, and then when we'll come back, we'll have some halftime stats, and then the second half, North Brunswick and East Brunswick in a moment. This is North Brunswick Raiders football on that King James Radio Network.
This is the King James Radio Network, your radio home for North Brunswick Raiders sports, Timothy Christian Tigers basketball, Restoration Place, the ladies of our turf football, and the Jersey Basketball Association.
This is Christian Petrillo, and you're listening to North Brunswick Raiders football on the King James Radio Network.
All right, so we come back here to Steve Lebro Field, North Brunswick and East Brunswick getting ready to start the second half. The Raiders lead it by a score of 23-0. Glad you're with us at jamesisking.com. Also on Facebook, you'll see us under King James Radio Network, and on Twitter at King James Radio 1. So Nick Sipot making his way back up to the press box here with, I'm wondering where his playoff beard is. It's just a mustache, so he like basically threatened me to get the playoff beard, and he doesn't have one. I don't understand that, But we'll get to Nick a little bit later on during the course of the season. But with that being said, some halftime numbers before the second half. Tim Goodzak for East Brunswick, 2 of 5 for 17 yards and an interception for Goodzak. 5 carries for -11. He's been sacked a couple of times tonight. Joe DeGuida, 6 carries, 7 yards, 1 reception for 9. And Drew Brenner has 1 catch for 8 yards. So if you add all of that up, East Brunswick has 13 yards of total offense in the first half. For the Raiders, Christian Petrillo, 6 of 7 in the air for 34 yards. He completed his first 6 passes. 4 carries for 41 with 2 touchdown runs. Miles Bailey, 11 carries for 116 yards here in the first half with a touchdown. I was just seeing if there was any special announcement here. I think they're trying to fix the headsets up there. But Chris Arnold, 3 carries for 17 yards. Petrillo found 6 different receivers in the first half. Maybe make it 5. Brandon Outlaw has a couple of catches for 8 yards. Manny Herrera with a catch for 5. Aaron R. with a catch for 12. Rami Berberina with a catch for 9 yards. And Tyree Geaston, he had 1 catch, but it was no gain. So 5 different receivers for Chich. And so we are just about ready for the second half. Aaron R. will kick from left to right. The Raiders in their blue jerseys with the white numbers trimmed in gold, blue pants, blue helmets with the stars on one side on the left, and the jersey number on the right of the individual players. So East Brunswick in their white jerseys with the green numbers, green pants, white helmets with the green EB logo, and pink socks for most of the guys from EB. All right, Aaron R. from left to right. We'll kick it off on the 40. Looks like back deep is Drew Brenner on the near side and Sal Salva on the far side. Line drive kick. It'll take a bounce over to Brenner at the 13, 15, 20, 25, 30, and is tackled at about the 33. Looks like Samir Session was able to get down there and make the tackle. And so East Brunswick will start the second half, 1st and 10. From their own 34-yard line. And again, if we have any updates from Greg Tafaro on what's going on over in the Sayreville South Brunswick game, we'll certainly pass that along to you. We get a whistle here, official timeout, maybe an equipment issue with Brandon Outlaw, so he will come out. And it looks like the Raiders will get someone else in there. And so now it looks like we will be ready. So it'll be 1st and 10 East Brunswick from their own 34-yard line. Tim Goodzak will work out of the shotgun here with Derek Davis in motion to the far side. And now going in motion is DeGuida. He takes the snap. Quick throw, a lateral to DeGuida. He's going to throw it downfield on the halfback option. And incomplete. Wide open was Brian Whitelock, and they overthrew him. Flag down. Might not have mattered anyway. Let's see. Okay, so penalty against East Brunswick. Illegal shift is the call. So East Brunswick now going to the other side of the playbook. 5-yard loss on the penalty. It'll be 1st and 15 for the Bears. So Two receivers here for Goodzak. He's out of the shotgun. Quick throw to the right and completes it to Brenner. And Samir Session tackles him. Looks like around the 34, which would be the original line of scrimmage. That is Brenner's second catch of the night. Gain of 5, 2nd and 10 from the 34. Clock runs at 11:21 to go in the third. So, yeah, that game over in Sayreville. Again, tied at 14 there. The winner gets the number 1 seed in Central Jersey Group 5. The loser, depending on how bad they lose, could drop down to 2, 3, or 4, which would give the Raiders a chance to move up. Goodzak out of the gun. Silberlight is in motion, takes the snap, and dropping back, he's going to try to run, stiff arms a man, throws it, flag down, completes it, or did he? No, he did not. Incomplete. Looking for Brenner. Outlaw was on the coverage, holding against East Brunswick, so it'll go back even further here. So East Brunswick coming out in the second half with a couple of penalties. And so now this one will come all the way back. Let's see where it ends up. Back at the 15-yard line. Well, that's 19 yards from the previous, line of scrimmage. So you're looking at 2nd and 29 from the 15. They've got to get to the balls at the 15. Yeah, they got to get to the 44-yard line. So 2nd and 29. From the 15-yard line. Goodzak out of the shotgun. Brenner in motion to the far side. Takes the snap. He'll run, going right. And 15 gets to about the 20 and is stood up there by Sean Brahini, amongst others. And maybe that was DeGuida running to the right. So, ball back at the 20, 3rd and 24. So far, so good for the Raider defense. The Raiders have, only allowed 7 points in their last 2 games, not counting this one. Coming in motion is Brenner to the near side on 3rd down. DeGuida takes the snap, and he'll get across the 25 before Tyrell Pereira gets there. Tackles him at about the 27. So it'll be 4th down, gain of 7. It'll be 4th and 17. And back to punt for East Brunswick will be Max Dressner. Standing at his own 49 for the Raiders is Miles Bailey. So Dressner to punt at his own 15 and snap to the right. He's able to get it, and it's blocked. Kick is blocked. And Leon Lowry has it, and he goes in. Touchdown, North Brunswick Raiders. Leon Lowry from the Bowery on the block and score from 15 yards out. The Raiders lead it 29-0. So Lowry getting into the act, and now a flag down here at the end, which means there's an unsportsmanlike on somebody. I just saw a flag go flying. Well, snap, spot, kick is up for the extra point. And it is good. So maybe there was no flag then. I thought I saw something go flying up in the air. All right, so 30-0 Raiders. 9:31 to go here in the third. We'll break, and we'll come back with Raiders football on the King James Radio Network. Aaron R. will kick this off. This is a squib kick, getting all the way down to the 15-yard line. Picked up on the near side by Brenner. 20, breaks a tackle. 25, Asara Napier, though, chases him down at about the 31-yard line. I was informed by public address announcer Jason Swain that was a ball that was, flying in the air towards the sideline, not a flag. So it'll be 1st and 10, East Brunswick with 9:23 left in the third. Ball at the 32-yard line. So the Bears now trailing 30-0. And this time it'll be, looks like, DeGuida out of the shotgun. Brenner over to the far side. DeGuida takes the snap. He'll run right. 35, breaks through. 40, and down at about the 42 before Miles Bailey in the secondary able to get him. Along with Brandon Outlaw as well. So gain of 10, 1st and 10 from the 42. So, the Raiders, I don't think they're necessarily looking for a shutout. Only Mike Sipot would know the answer to that, but certainly don't want to give East Brunswick any room for optimism here. 1st and 10 from the 42. 2 receivers, 1 to each side. And this time it's Goodzak. Out of the shotgun, takes the snap, fakes the handoff to DeGuida, runs up the middle, 45-50, collides with a man, knocks him over, and into the Raider territory. And down at about the 43, Brandon Outlaw on the tackle. And that's what I was talking about in the pregame. I said in the pregame, and I said it to Mike Sipot, you cannot let him get ahead of steam or he'll run you over. So ball at the Raider 42, gain of 16 for Goodzak. And it'll be 1st down and 10. He is a strong kid. If he gets 3 or 4 yards of momentum, he'll run right over you. Out of the shotgun is Goodzak. With a back to his left, takes the snap, drops back, quick throw to the left, completes it to Derek Davis, and gets some yardage here, gets to about the 25 before he is wrapped up. Brahini and Parson on the tackle. We get a whistle, which means official timeout. Timeout, North Brunswick. So the Raiders will call time with 7:33 to go in the third. And they have a 30-0 lead. We'll break. We'll come back in 30 seconds on the King James Radio Network. So the Raiders calling time. They have 2 timeouts remaining. And we have 7:33 to go here in the third quarter. North Brunswick 30, East Brunswick nothing. The Bears are on the move, though. 1st and 10, East Brunswick from the North Brunswick 25-yard line. It is senior night here at Steve Lebro Field. 2 receivers for the Bears, 1 to each side. And Goodzak will work out of the gun here. With a back to his right, Brenner in motion to the far side. Goodzak takes the snap, quick throw to the right, and dropped by Brenner, incomplete. Brahini was right there to swoop up any further damage. That very close to a lateral. It'll be 2nd down. So 2nd down and 10 from the 25. Aston Jones will be to the right of Tim Goodzak here. Again, 1 receiver to each side. Goodzak stomps to the left foot. Tapia in motion to the near side. Out of the shotgun, fakes the handoff, and he'll run off right tackle, but Chris Arnott was there. Faked the handoff to Aston Jones, but the Raiders weren't buying it. And no gain, it'll be 3rd down. 3rd down and 10 from the 25. So East Brunswick started to move the ball here, and so they've stalled a little bit here. 3rd and 10 from the 25. And Christian Petrillo skipping along the Raiders sideline. He is a wiry kind of guy. That's what you get with running quarterbacks, you know. Mr. Personality. 3rd and 10 from the 25. Goodzak out of the gun. Takes the snap. Quick throw to the right. And off the hands of Brenner. Incomplete. Samir Session on the coverage. Brenner was still running up the field when Goodzak had the arm cocked back, ready to throw it. But it'll be 4th down. And you figure with East Brunswick down 30-0 here, they'll go for it, whether they have a field goal kicker or not, which would be Dressner. So 4th and 10 from the 25. With 6:43 remaining in the third. Again, 2 receivers set for East Brunswick, 1 to each side. Jones to the left of Goodzak. In motion is Silverlight, takes the snap, and dropping back now, Goodzak will run and is tripped up. Looked like Herrera got him inside the 20, but I don't think it's going to be enough for a first down. And so East Brunswick will turn it over on downs. Ball at the 14-yard line. So that would be, check that, I'm sorry, 19. See, that throws me off too. 19-yard line. So gain of 6 on 4th down. At least they don't have lines all over the field like other places do, like for soccer and whatnot. So 1st and 10 for the Raiders from the 19. Petrillo will work out of the shotgun here. Going in motion is Outlaw. They pitch it to him, and check that. That is Berberina. Is it Outlaw? Let me see. That is Outlaw. Okay, yep. So Brandon Outlaw on the carry. Gets it to about the 27. Gain of 8. 2nd down and 2. And Petrillo with Bailey to his right, out of the gun, takes the snap, hands off to Bailey, and with Gonzalez in front of him, runs left, 30, 40, and down to the 41, with Angel Gonzalez leading the way. So Bailey well over 100 yards for the night now. 14-yard gain for Bailey. That actually gives him 125. So 1st and 10 from the 41. Trips right. Petrillo with Bailey to his left. Out of the shotgun. Takes the snap. Hands off to Bailey. Goes right. Coming to the near side. 45, 50. Now at the numbers. 45, 40. Outside. 30, 20. Trying to race past the field. He's knocked out of bounds. Inside the 20-yard line. Oh, it'll come back. Goodzak pushed Bailey out of bounds, but it's going to come back, holding against North Brunswick, and that's the 2nd time that a long run from Bailey has been negated on a holding call. And again, listen, the Raiders, despite the score, have not played a perfect game tonight. Holding against North Brunswick, it'll be from the spot of the foul. It is still a first down at the East Brunswick 48-yard line. So give Bailey credit for 11 yards. So first down. 1st and 10 from the EB 48. Petrillo out of the gun with Arnold to his left. Takes the snap. Here comes the rush. Tapia coming after him. Petrillo throws it downfield and out of bounds. Nice catch by Rami Berberina, but he was out of bounds. Whitelock on the coverage for East Brunswick. So incomplete pass, 2nd down. It'll be 2nd and 10 from the Bears' 48-yard line with 4:59 to go here in the 3rd quarter. 2 receivers left, including Bailey. Check that, Berberina. Berberina, slot left. Chich out of the gun, takes the snap, gives to Arnold, but he is met by 2 men. Goodzak getting back there, along with Gamel, Yusef Gamel. So ball back at the 50. Loss of 2. 3rd and 12 from the 50 with 4:34 to go in the 3rd. Now Bailey will come back in after taking a breather. Berberina comes out. So Bailey to the right of Petrillo. Arnold to the left. 2 receivers left. Petrillo out of the shotgun on 3rd down. Takes the snap. Rolls left. Looking. Breaks 1 tackle. And Tapia chases him down at the 49. So Carlos Tapia on the tackle. And the Raiders will be forced to punt. Ball is at the 49-yard line, so 4th and 13. Aaron R. will punt. Standing at his own 38. And so snap. R will kick this one away. A high kick towards the middle of the field here. And it will take a Raider bounce. East Brunswick will let it go. And Leon Lowry will do the honors of downing it near the 12-yard line. So East Brunswick will have it. 1st and 10 from their own 12-yard line. We have 3 minutes and 28 seconds to go in the third quarter. And again, the Raiders with a 30-0 lead here. So again, glad you're with us on a crisp night here at Steve Lebro Field. South Plainfield over Carteret 28-0 at halftime, courtesy of Greg Tafaro. So 1st and 10 from the 12. And out of the shotgun is Goodzak, dropping back, looking, heaves one in the air, right side, and incomplete towards the far sideline, intended for Brenner. Samir Session on the coverage. So it'll be 2nd down. That's one of the few times that East Brunswick will take a chance and throw it downfield. 2nd and 10. So the Raiders, just looking forward to seeing who their first-round opponent will be next week. And the game more than likely will be here at Steve Lebro Field. It'll be only the 2nd home playoff game in Raiders history. Silverlight in motion here to the far side. DeGuida takes the snap, goes up the middle, and gets to the 20, crosses the 20 to about the 22 or so. Looks like Outlaw among others on the tackle. Tyrell Pereira, who of course will be back for his senior year next year. Looks like ball is spotted at the 21. Gain of 9. It'll be 3rd and 1 for the Bears here with 2:48 to go in the third. So this time under center is Goodzak and drops the snap. Loose ball. Goodzak falls on it a couple of yards back. So, dropped snap there for East Brunswick, and that'll force 4th down. Ball is back at the 18-yard line, so a loss of 3. It'll be 4th and 4. The Bears will line up to punt. 2 men back deep for the Raiders. Tyree Geaston to the near side, Miles Bailey to the far side. Geaston on the right hash, Bailey on the left, standing at the EB 42. Meanwhile, Max Dressner will punt at his own 4-yard line. Dressner with hands out, gets the snap, gets it away. This one a good one. Bailey calls for a fair catch, but they'll take an East Brunswick bounce. And it'll land at the Raider 46. So 1st and 10, North Brunswick from the 46-yard line. Again, we'll see if the Raiders, well, obviously, you want to try to score here, but we'll see if they try to stretch the lead out here. So, 1st and 10 from the 46. Petrillo will work out of the shotgun here with Chris Arnold to his left, takes the snap, hands off to Arnold, whistle blows, flags down. False start called against North Brunswick. So the Raiders will try again. It will be 1st and 15 from the Raider 41 with 1:48 to go here in the third quarter. Split backfield for Petrillo. Bailey to the right and Arnold to the left. Herrera slot right. Chich takes the snap and hands off to Arnold up the middle, 42. That's about it before Goodzak makes the tackle. So Arnold on the carry. Goes to the 42. It'll be 2nd and 14. So we'll apprise you of exactly when and where we will be on the air next week. Most likely next Friday at 7 o'clock from Steve Lebro Field. We'll let you know who the Raiders' opponent will be. But 2nd and 14 from the 42. 4 receivers here, 2 to each side. Chich out of the gun, takes the snap, completes it to R at the 47, and he is tackled in East Brunswick territory at about the 48. So R on the catch. Percy Austin, number 28, on the tackle for East Brunswick. Ball at the East Brunswick 48, so that is a gain of 10. It'll be 3rd and 4. Hurry up here for Petrillo out of the gun, takes the snap, hands off to Bailey. Bailey dances right across the 45 down to about the 43. Looks like Gamel among others on the tackles. The refs will stop it. Penalty holding against North Brunswick. And so another holding call against the Raiders here. There's been a few of those tonight. And it'll come back. Well, again, you'll know what you have to deal with, what you'll have to fix come playoff time. So ball is back at the 43 of North Brunswick here. So that's 9 yards, which means 3rd and 13. Petrillo trips left out of the gun. Petrillo takes the snap. Quick throw to Bailey. Might be a lateral, but 40 and 45. And that's about it. So, yeah, that looked like a lateral to Bailey. They'll mark it at the 47. Gain of 4. It'll be 4th and 9 from the 47. And that ends the third quarter. So we have played 3. North Brunswick 30. East Brunswick nothing. We'll break. We'll come back with Raiders football on the King James Radio Network. Back for the fourth quarter. 4th and 9 for East Brunswick from their own, North Brunswick rather. 4th and 9 North Brunswick from their own 47-yard line. Aaron R. will punt from right to left. Gets it away. Line drive kick sailing to the near side. And this one will take a Raider bounce to the 10-yard line. DeGuido lets it go. And so it will be 1st and 10 from the 10-yard line for East Brunswick, trailing 30-0. Make it the 9-yard line, so we'll call it 1st and 10 from the 9. 12 seconds gone by here in the fourth quarter. And the Raiders well on their way to their 7th straight win. It would be the first time since 2003. Greg Tafaro, he is the man. Sayreville leading South Brunswick 20-14, but the Vikings are driving halfway through the third quarter. 1st and 10 from the 9. Goodzak under center. Steps back with the left foot. Tapia in motion to the near side. Takes the snap. Hands off. This is DeGuida up the middle. And trying to drag Chris Arnold across the 15. And is driven back. So looks like they'll spot this at the 14. Gain of 5. 2nd and 5 from the 14-yard line. 11:21 to go in the fourth quarter. The Raiders really just trying to run out the clock here. Now, if the Raiders get one more score before East Brunswick does, then you've got a running clock. But either way, the Raiders in control here. 2nd and 5 from the 14. Goodzak with Tapia in motion to the far side. Out of the shotgun, takes the snap and fakes the handoff to DeGuida, rolling right, throws it right, completes it along the sideline. Samir Session on the tackle, Brenner on the catch. So Brenner catches it along the sideline at the 26-yard line. So gain of 12, 1st and 10 for the Bears. South Brunswick now has a 1st and goal on the Sayreville 5-yard line. And again, Sayreville leading by 7 in that game. Meanwhile, Goodzak under center here on 1st and 10 takes the snap. He'll hand off to DeGuida, and he is stopped in the backfield. Tyrell Pereira and G.D. Marcellus. Pereira was there first. So ball back at the 25, loss of 1, 2nd and 11. So it looks like, from the looks of things in the Sayreville-South Brunswick game, even if Sayreville loses, I don't think they're going to drop back any further than the 3 seed, which would automatically give them the 2 seed. That's a whole different story. Tapia in motion to the far side. Taking the snap is Goodzak. Hands off to DeGuido. Off tackle left. Nobody tackled him, really. He just got tripped. Maybe he got his feet tangled. I don't know. Chris Arnold was the nearest guy there, but it'll be 3rd down at the 28. So it looks like South Brunswick just took the lead 21-20 with 4:55 left in the 3rd quarter there. 3rd and 8 from the 28 here for East Brunswick. Goodzak out of the shotgun, takes the snap, dropping back, and he'll run 25, 30, and is bowled over by G.D. Marcellus at about the 34. So now 4th down, ball at the 34. 4th and 2. East Brunswick will most likely, well, I don't know if they're going to go for it here because they're still in their own end, really. Now listen, you're down 30-0. You're 1-6. You've got nothing to lose if you go for it. Looks like that's what they're going to do. So 4th and 2 Bears from their own 34-yard line. 2 receivers left here for East Brunswick. Goodzak under center. And now Tapia in motion to the far side. Takes the snap, hands off to DeGuido, off tackle left, and might have it here at the 36. Samad Wingo with the tackle. He might have it here. Let's see. He does. And so DeGuida on 4th and 2 gets it to the 36. 1st and 10 East Brunswick. So still plenty of time left in that South Brunswick-Sayreville game, so we probably won't get a final here before we go off the air. So if you follow Greg Tafaro on Twitter, you might get an update there. 1st and 10 from the 36. Tapia in motion to the near side, takes the snap, does Goodzak, dropping back, looking, and he's going to be sacked. And who else but Leon Lowry, straight from the Bowery. So another sack for Leon. Back at the 32-yard line, loss of 4, 2nd and 14 for Lowry. That is his 10th sack of the year. 2nd and 14 from the 32. Goodzak with DeGuida to his right. Goodzak out of the shotgun and fakes the handoff to DeGuida, dumps it to DeGuida in the flat, and 30, 35, and bumps into a man, 40, 45, still going, 50, it's a foot race, 40, and he is tackled near the far sideline at the North Brunswick, just short of the 30-yard line. Looks like Lowry got down there to help out on the tackle, and Lowry a little bit shaken up. He's hobbling, but appears to be all right. They just threw that in the flat to DeGuida. biggest play of the day by far for East Brunswick. First and 10 from the Raider 32. Gain of 36 on that one. Meanwhile, Goodzak out of the gun will run 30, 20, and tackled at the 20 by Asaru Napier. So now East Brunswick getting a little momentum here. Gain of 12 for Goodzak. And an East Brunswick first down at the Raider 20-yard line. 6:14 remains here in the fourth. Raiders lead it 30-0, at least for the time being. First and 10, East Brunswick from the Raider 20. Goodzak out of the shotgun. Takes the snap, and off his hand, he'll fall on it before Samad Wingo can get there. Wingo makes sure that Goodzak stays down back at the 28. And so again, I mean, the snap looked decent. Goodzak just didn't catch it. So loss of 8. It'll be 2nd and 18 from the 28. With 5:25 remaining in the fourth. And so again, the Raiders, we talked about before, looking ahead to the state playoffs next week. This is their final tune-up. As Goodzak out of the shotgun. Back to his left, takes the snap, dropping back, throws it, deep ball, left side, and knocked away by Brandon Outlaw. Incomplete, intended for Brenner. So it will be third down. The Raiders only have one home playoff game in their history, and that was in 2010. They beat Pensacola that night. They have not had a home playoff game since, at least until next week. 3rd and 18 from the 28 for the Bears. This time 3 receivers. Haven't seen many 3-receiver sets from East Brunswick. 2 to the left. Goodzak out of the gun, takes the snap, dropping back, stepping up, throws it right side, end zone, and incomplete off the right hand of Sal Salsa, excuse me. And Samir Session on the coverage for the Raiders to make sure Salsa didn't catch it. And it'll be 4th down. It'll be interesting to see here if the Raiders get a stop on 4th down and the offense comes back out. Will it be the starters or will it be the second string? Remember, we dealt with that last week against Perth Amboy. And again, the Born Power Index comes into play. 4th down and 18 from the 28. They got to get to the 10-yard line. In motion is Brenner to the near side. Goodzak out of the shotgun, takes the snap, dropping back. He's going to run, running right, looking, throws it right side, end zone, and knocked away, incomplete. It looked like Session almost had an interception there. But as it stands, the Bears turn it over on downs, and the Raiders will have it 1st and 10 at their own 28. There you hear from Mr. Jason Swain. I tell you, man, he is right on it the last couple of weeks. 21-20, South Brunswick, late 3rd quarter. So 1st and 10 from the 28 for the Raiders here. It looks like Petrillo and the starters are in. Outlaw is in. And handoff to Outlaw, trying to cut it back to the right. Avoids one tackle, goes around the edge to the 30, 40, 50. Outlaw still going back to the near side. 40, 30, 20, 10, 5. Touchdown, North Brunswick Raiders. Oh, never mind. It's coming back. Another. Yes, I said another holding call against the Raiders that stops a touchdown. It happened to Bailey, and now Brandon Outlaw joins the club. So a 72-yard run for Outlaw goes by the boards. The Raiders must have at least 150 yards erased on penalties tonight. At least. So it'll come back to the 18, where it will be 1st and 20. Outlaw had the run of his life right there. And it had to come back. I'm sure Brandon's not too happy. So 1st and 20 from the 18. Petrillo in the backfield. DeMonte Blunt is back there to the right of Petrillo. Chich takes the snap, drops back, throws it right, completes it. This is R, or is that Geeston? That is R. Tackled at the 38. On the tackle was Whitelock, Brian Whitelock. So R on the catch and run. Gets it to the 37, it looks like. So gain of 19, 2nd and 1. 2 receivers left for Petrillo here. Again, DeMonte Blunt to the right out of the gun. Hands off to Blunt, cuts it back to the middle, and did he get back to the line of scrimmage here? So DeMonte Blunt, Noah Keith on the tackle. Blunt does get the yard, and so it'll be a North Brunswick first down to keep the clock running. East Brunswick has yet to call a timeout. It'll be 1st and 10. Gain of 2 for Blunt. It'll be 1st and 10 from the Raiders' 39-yard line. And Bob Molars may just say, you know what? It's time to go home. Trips right for the Raiders on 1st and 10. Outlaw to the left, takes the snap, and hands off to the Outlaw, Brandon Outlaw, and trying to get out of a tackle, flag down. Well, for the second straight time, Outlaw gets the ball and the Raiders get called for holding. And that's got to be, I haven't counted them, but that's got to be like the 5th holding penalty on the Raiders tonight, 5 or 6. So it'll come all the way back. Looks like it's coming back to the 27. So that's a loss of 12. Yeah, 1st and 22 there from the 27. They've got to get to the 49 for a first down. Petrillo out of the shotgun here. Leon Lowry in motion, and Chich takes the snap. He'll pitch it, and this is Outlaw dancing his way across the middle, gets to the 30. Tapia there to go for the tackle, just short of the 35. So good run for Brandon Outlaw there. Looks like they'll spot it at the 34. Gain of 7. 2nd and 15 from the 34. With 2:15 remaining here in the 4th. And again, East Brunswick doesn't look inclined to call any timeouts here. So this is basically the beginning of the end here on senior night. Looks like 3 receivers bunched right, including Outlaw. And Chich takes the snap, hands off to Chris Arnold. 35, breaks a tackle. And at the 40, 45, 50. Arnold to the near side. 40, 35, 30. Near side and out of bounds. Near the 30-yard line. Chris Arnold. And this time, they'll mark it at the 35. And this time, there are no flags. So a 31-yard gain for Arnold. 1st and 10 from the East Brunswick 35. 1:41 to go. The Raiders want to try to put up one more score here to get the max point differential that they can get under the Bourne Index. Herrera coming in. 3 receivers bunched right. Petrillo out of the gun. And hands off to G.D. Marcellus. Crosses the 30 down to the 27. So Marcellus getting his first touch. And with 1:26 to go in the 4th, the Raiders will try to hurry up here. Ball at the 28. 2nd and 3. Petrillo now with Samir Session to the right. So the seniors getting their chance here. 3 receivers bunch left. Petrillo out of the gun and hands off to Session. Going left. Gets to the 20 and out of bounds. Clock stops with 1:02 to go. So Mike Sipot getting some of his seniors in there to touch the ball. We'll see what else the Sipots have up their sleeve here before the night is done. Ball at the 22. So gain of 6 for Session. 1st and 10 from the 22-yard line. Herrera, slot right. R wide to the right. Petrillo with Outlaw behind him out of the shotgun here. Now Outlaw will move to the left. Takes the snap and hands off to Outlaw going right and spins out of 1 tackle, but Tapia will wrap him up at about the 22. Back at the line of scrimmage with 49 seconds left. And so the Raiders, for the first time since 2003, will win their 7th straight game. And now looks ahead to the state playoffs next week. 2nd and 9 from the 21, where Nick Sipot better have his full playoff beard. 2nd and 9 from the 21. I see Chris Marr is beardless. Petrillo takes the snap. He'll run right, trying to get past Goodzak. 10, right sideline, touchdown, North Brunswick Raiders. 3rd touchdown of the night for Christian Petrillo. Another 6 for Chich. 36-0 Raiders. They're just going to let it run out from here. And so I don't even think the Raiders will kick the extra point. This game is over. And the North Brunswick Raiders take care of business on senior night, defeating the East Brunswick Bears by a score of 36-0. The Raiders with a shutout for the 2nd straight week. So the Raiders have held the opponents off the board for 8 straight quarters now. Christian Petrillo with 3 touchdown runs. Miles Bailey over 100 yards for the night. Bailey, if I were to add it up real quick here. Let's see, Bailey finished with 129 rushing yards with a touchdown. And Christian Petrillo finding 5 different receivers in the first half. That was a big key. And so North Brunswick, again, for the first time since 2003, have won 7 straight games. They are now 8-1 on the year. 1 win away from tying the school record for wins, which was set in 1979, 1985, and 2000. And the Raiders will look ahead now, probably a home playoff game next week against an opponent to be announced. And so I want to thank Athletic Director Sean Morrell over to my left. But we're not done yet. Got at least a couple more to go. And so with that, our next broadcast of North Brunswick Raiders football on the King James Radio Network. My thanks, by the way, to Jason Swain as well. I tell you what, if he wasn't doing PA, if I had a budget, I'd hire him as a spotter. But our next broadcast of Raiders football on the King James Radio Network will be, I can't officially say next Friday, but most likely next Friday, November the 2nd. We'll update you on our Facebook page under King James Radio Network and on Twitter at King James Radio 1. But most likely next Friday, November the 2nd at 7 o'clock, when the North Brunswick Raiders will have a state playoff game here at Steve Lebo Field for only the 2nd time in their history. And it'll be an opponent to be announced. The Raiders could face any number of teams here. Edison, Hillsborough, Freehold Township was on the outside looking in. They're still in the mix. They need some help to get in. So any number of teams could be the Raiders' opponent for next week. So we'll let you know. But in the meantime, site supervisor here is Lisa Barkley. And my thanks, Laura Iskowitz, and my thanks to all the staff here, Brian Ito, all the staff here at MBTHS. So with that being said, we will talk to you next Friday night. Until then, this is Corbett Thompson saying goodbye, Godspeed. We thank you for listening to North Brunswick Raiders football on the King James Radio Network. My thanks to Danny Noodleman of the MBTHS Marching Band and also the Lady Raiders cheerleaders, led by their coaches Ashley Doyle and Nella Ruiz. And my thanks to all of you guys for listening in. Kelsey McCann and Sade George joining us at halftime, and Sean Brahini and Manny Herrera joining us in the pregame, of course, along with Mike Seipot. All right, goodbye, Godspeed. We'll talk to you next week for the state playoffs. Your final score in this one, the North Brunswick Raiders 36, the East Brunswick Bears nothing. Until next week, you folks, have a good night.